How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. It's Table Takes game night. Today, we're going to be playing a very special game, and I promised Bonsai I would do this. Transgender Death Battle Legend Deathmatch. I am joined by the very lovely, award-winning Kayla Dice, and she's going to teach me how to play this game.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back. So we're both in. Sure, should I introduce the game a little bit first before we
Absolutely. I'm sure there are people in the audience who have not played the game yet.
Yeah, so Transgender Deathmatch Legend is a hex crawling beat 'em up for two players using playing cards. The premise of the game is very simple. One player is going to play the protagonist, that'll be you, Jovian, and I'll be playing the facilitator. So I play like the world, narrate some stuff, and I also play any of your opponents who are here to get in your way. You are a transgender deathmatch legend. You built your legend with a tapestry of broken glass, bloody fists, and banging slams. You put the HRT in hurt and put the hurt on anyone who tries you. So now you're going to smash your way across Slamchester because someone owes you some money. You went through two burning tables for a promoter and they've been ducking your calls for months. It's time to settle things hands on. They heard you're coming and will try and stack the deck, stop you from getting where you need to be. Just remember who you are, remember what you can do, and go get your fucking money.
Yeah, we used up our first F bomb, our only F bomb
Yes,
for the stream.
I was like, there's more in that narration, and I was like, I'll cut them. I think ending on it makes sense. So the way it works when we do is there hex scroll in the playcards.io. You can see it. I quite like the design for it. It's a simple sort of like
Uh-oh.
protagonist piece can
All
move
right,
the starting spot here.
gotcha.
Um,
So for the
then
folks at
from
home,
there
we
we're
are
oh,
playing transgender death battle legend through an app, a playingcards.io app. You all aren't going to be able to see it, but we're moving pieces around a hex grid system, and we're using playing cards in this app in order to play it. And you can too. Deathmatch. It was deathmatch. I was wrong.
Deathmatch Legend.
We're doing
Oh,
death battles, but it's a death match.
yeah, street fights, deathmatch. So like death matches are a sort of form of wrestling which is a lot bloodier, involves a lot of weapons, people blading to sort of draw blood deliberately and going through burning tables and stuff. And the phrase
Yeah,
transgender deathmatch legend, there's something about it to me phonetically, which just works really well. I
I
think I
think so
cut off
too.
a bit there, but I think I'm more stable now.
I think we're good now.
Um,
I
awesome,
hope this game
awesome. So
has lots of role playing opportunities. That's my favorite part of any game. Uh oh, a little connection
try
trouble.
to. Oh no.
Bear with us, folks. We got a little technical difficulties here, but we're gonna get back on track in just a bit. All right, looks like we're back.
Okay, cool. So on character creation, we're gonna create a sort of little weird wrestler. Quote I like on character creation. This is a quote from Tony Storm, a wrestler, in just a BBC One documentary. So it's the actual person talking. She's like, wherever I find someone in wrestling who's like normal, I like suss them out. Like I'm gonna find out what's wrong about you. The first step is just picking a shoot name, like the real name of your character. There's some options in the document, but also you can just go wild.
So when I'm picking a shoot name, when I'm picking a real name, am I picking my dead name or am I picking my chosen name?
So be like a chosen name, but it's
Okay.
probably not the name you go by in wrestling. I was about to use
Okay.
myself as an example, and then I'm like, that's a terrible example because my like Sheila, but my wrestling name was also Kayla, but it was Kayla Fizz, like as a different last name
That's
as
cool.
opposed to Dice.
Well, my shoot name's gonna be Amanda.
Cool, yeah.
My pronoun's gonna be
Uh,
she, her.
Nice. Then picking a ring name of some kind. So this is always going to be like the gimmick. It kind of implies a bit about your character. You might want to comment later. I had a pick list of lots of weird little ideas. Jackie cigarettes and Werner Herzog come to mind as ones where I'm sort of I look back at them and I'm like, what was going through my brain when I wrote that?
Pixie dust and fireworks.
Yeah.
I went with Bonesaw.
Bonesaw. Bonesaw is ready. We said Bonesaw uses she, her pronouns. And then there's Hitch, which is sort of like the real life backstory of a person. So some options here is like a wrestling legacy, Black Sheep. Um, there's an option for being like a drag artist who became a wrestling fan, then a wrestler. And there's ones that are a bit sort of heavier. I won't necessarily read them out unless we go with them. And also you can come up with a pitch entirely by yourself, essentially.
So there I was. I had just gotten out of a bar fight, and I was starting to break down mentally speaking. My mind was going in tons of different directions, and somebody came up to me and gave me a huge bear hug, and for some reason that calmed me down. And they told me that they learned it from wrestling, and that's how I got into wrestling.
Nice. Yeah, I really like that. Then we move on to gimmick. So we have the idea of your character's called Bonesaw. Gimmick is then like maybe just summing up Bonesaw's like vibe in the ring, like serious shooter, dressed really sort of like straightforwardly as a wrestler. Like I'm a professional. Are they someone who's like an in your face punk? Are they an extreme sort of daredevil, or maybe someone more sort of flamboyant or whatever? There's the options there, but also once again we can go with what really speaks to who Bonesaw is.
Yeah, I see myself as a comedy wrestler, styled after a timeless, not really a joke, but a character, Bonesaw.
So yeah. And then this is a fun thing we can do on the IO. So drawing three cards, revealing them, and that can give us a finishing move. So you can just put them out there, flipping them. That is,
Okay, I got to put all my cards back from earlier.
oh no, it's okay. So can leave them. So spades, spades, clubs, which is a pump handle jackknife buster.
Perfect. That's my Bonesaw. Uh-oh, we get a little bit more connection issues to overcome here.
Am I back now?
All right, looks like we're back.
Awesome. Pump handle jackknife buster. I was just trying to visualize it and I'm like, that's horrifying. I
Yeah,
feel pain just thinking about it because it really is someone twisting up your arms, launching you in the air, and hoping you don't die. Bonesaw is ready. So
absolutely.
from here we can sort of start off essentially. So we're on like the first hex, basically. I don't know why I said basically. We are literally on the first hex. That's a true fact. Which is the show after party. The main events in the can. Maybe you spend some time looking at the nights or chilling at the bar after your match. So you've done a show here. Um, do you think you won? Do you think you did well? Or
Oh
do you
no,
think
it was awful. It was a complete train wreck.
couple of other wrestlers are milling about. Maybe they're commiserating, like, "Ooh, the crowd really hated us tonight, and we were supposed to be the faces." They really did say die a lot. And we were the faces. Why do you remember the Heartbreaker Supra, the promoter who has not paid you for your business? Why do you remember that they owe you money in this moment?
Well, the money is really important to me. I could really use it. I really wanted to take a trip, go see some sights, but also there's a really cool battle that I wanted to get involved with. It could really help my career take off in Italy.
Right, yeah. Money can be exchanged for goods and services like train fares or plane tickets.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to be able to afford a trip to Italy on my own.
Yeah. So is this the sort of tipping point of like Supra's ducking you? He's not he's gonna completely screw up this Italy trip, this dream. Has the
Exactly.
power to make it better and he doesn't, and you're just like, nah, F it. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna sort this.
Exactly. Yeah. I see Supra as my arch nemesis now, and I'll stop at nothing to bring them to their knees.
So that's our sort of like scene setting, and then it makes sense to hex number three, probably, which is where we're introduced to our first villain, Seattle Dragon Joel. It's a cruel submission machine. He finds the limits of all rules and the breaking point of all limbs. He has a grudge against you, so will stand in your way for free. Why does Seattle Dragon Joel hate you?
Well, I'm a huge showboat, and I kind of threw him under the bus at one point by actually wasn't a confession. It was more of like I heard some gossip about how Seattle Dragon Joel had faked an injury in his last match in order to get out of the fight because he was too scared, and now everybody believes that.
Damn, other people fight through the pain. He's all about the pain, and you're saying, nah, chicken. So
Yeah.
Joel shows up. Joel's like kind of ripped guy. Actually, no, I don't think ripped. I think he's like a big guy, clearly well built, but honestly, like he's not someone who's actually gone in for muscle definition. Unlike a lot of wrestlers who are maybe like shredded, but
Like me.
not so actually powerful. Joel runs into people and they end up in the hospital.
Mm.
I think he's wearing like a hoodie. Basically, shows like he wasn't booked on this show. He heard you were here. Started to hear as you step outside that hey, Bonesaw's maybe getting some ideas. And it's like Bonesaw,
What do you
you want to
want?
get soup? Yeah? You have to go through me. Who's chicken now?
If you're looking for a fight, Joel, well, you got one. I'm Bonesaw, and Bonesaw's always ready.
Awesome. So charging in. Now here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like draw a card and establish it as the weather suit, which is basically the Trump suit.
Mhm.
So that's free of spades?
Clubs.
Clubs. I was get spades and clubs confused. I feel they should make them more distinct shapes. That's just my cross to bear. Says we don't pay attention to the free. The clubs is the bit that matters. All of the cards we play when playing have to match the clubs. I also in this game sort of themed them with around some weather just to give a sort of kind of extreme atmosphere. What this states here is that the state of our battlefield right now is like a lot of live wires and stuff. Like Joel, imagining this is a bit cartoonish, like just like stomps his foot and stuff breaks around, like foam boxes
Mm.
crack and sparkle a bit. Um, there's maybe a bit of sort of like thunder and stuff in the background. And yeah, let's just say Joel like tears off this hoodie, like revealing sort of shirtness and maybe some bandages underneath. And now the first thing is whoever leads the trick will play their card first. I think it makes sense for me to lead the trick in this instance, just because I'm teaching the game. Otherwise, kind of always follow the narration. So like, if you're like, yeah, Bonesaw's gonna deck a character right even before they walk in. Deck meaning here. I realize I don't know if that's actually slang that
No,
outside of the UK.
I've definitely heard decking people. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, but otherwise, I'll lead in this case. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a six of clubs because it needs to match clubs. If I didn't have a card that could match clubs, what I do is I then play any other card. But like, if you match clubs, you'll win. That
Ah.
is going to be Joel attempting to go for a lariat. I reckon they're just going to run at you. They're going to charge a lariat, is where someone moves their bicep round and whacks someone basically around the throat. It used to be my finisher
Mm.
as a wrestler. And so you then play your card in return, whatever
Okay.
move you're attempting to. Ideally, you want a clubs that is higher, though sometimes certain trumps or stuff is better. If you can't beat a six of clubs, I'd recommend playing your lowest clubs, the kind of card that you wouldn't otherwise have a hope of winning with.
Gotcha. Now, in the PDF rules for this system, you mention that you don't need to have a background or a history in wrestling in order to enjoy this game. So you've just described what your character did as sort of, ripping off their hoodie and going in for this like clothesline thing where you sort of like bash somebody with your arm. That sounds like something you remember from your days in wrestling or something that you've seen somebody do in wrestling. But for somebody like me, I'm pretending I've never seen wrestling before. How would I get involved in the role playing of this?
Yeah, so I really tried to choose the move names kind of specifically. There was a draft I did of this game where I looked at it and I was like, I've gone too far. There are too many weird holds here.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I look at this and I'm like, forearm smash, I can tell you exactly what that is, but I think most people can figure out it's smashing someone with their forearm,
Right. Okay.
whatever
Gotcha.
that looks. Things like headlock and uppercut, big move. I tried to focus on moves, even things like backbreaker or spine buster. To me, I think of a very specific move, but I think if two people are playing who've not heard wrestling, they say, "What's a backbreaker?" and they go, "Oh, it's probably the thing Bane does to Batman." Yeah, let's play that out. They've still had fun. Did they get it like correct according to like the rules of wrestling? No, but
Uh,
that's not the point, even. I think Lariat, to be honest, is probably the only one where, in retrospect, I'm like, this may be a move.
I'll be honest, I've never heard what a laureate is.
Yeah, I think I chose out affection for it previously being my finisher, but I look at it and I'm like, every other move here makes a lot more sense. Is either like something that if you know more about, like, if you know a tiny little bit about how people fight, you might be familiar with, or is things where it's like, well, I know what this body part is. I can guess. I can guess what a new strike is. Lariat should probably be um like a spinning elbow or something, but we live and learn.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to take Seattle Joel down with a backbreaker.
Oh, yeah. So eight, I should just check if either of these are trumps. Six or eight aren't. So that's really just a straight forward thing. How do you so like Jaws charging in? What does Bones for respond and how do they get set up with the backbreaker?
Uh, Bonesaw's going to duck underneath their arm and at the same time catch them around their waist, lift them up in the air, and then smash them down on their knee.
Yeah, like expecting that. And then what happens there is we those two have a I just saw my connections on stage, so maybe just wasn't in case. And then move that over to your section where it's trick one. Like the cards I just kind of mix. Keeping track of this a bit simpler. If we were playing this in person, I'd stack those etc.
Sorry, there's some
Here
connection
it's like
issues
they're
here. It's a
in.
little choppy. It's a little tough to hear you. You
Am I back
know,
here?
playing with
Or my
somebody on the other side of the world, there's going to be some issues sometimes. It's going to be a little unavoidable. What are you going to do?
yeah. I'm not my voice isn't picking up. So I don't know what that means. I'm sort of in this weird position where I want to speak because I think that helps us figure out when I'm back to normal. But also
Uh,
aware right now I might just be inflicting horror on the viewers.
well, I think it's usable audio for now. It's a little choppy video, but the audio is good.
Okay, that's good. That makes sense. So yeah, that's that first trick gone, collected, and then as you want that, you'll lead the next trick. So you can lay down any card that matches the clubs.
Well, I'm gonna play a card that's not a club because I don't have a club in trick taking games. That's generally how it works.
Yeah, you got to play just any other card.
What bam?
10
I'm gonna
of
10 hearts. Yeah, so I'm gonna go in for a big old sleeper hold. Try to lock my arms in behind Joe's head.
damn. I do have a Clubsio, which is a spine buster. So even though that's a 9 of clubs, but it is a clubs, so I win this trick, even though 10 is higher than
Ah.
9. I reckon Joel, you get the sleeper on, but Joel has like a big neck. Joel's like a joke in the community in like and stuff. Like, yeah, you can't sleep a whole Joel, that guy doesn't have like anything to sleeper. They're just like you're trying to get it round, elbowing you loads in the gut, and in that wounded just charges in, lifts you up, slams you down on the ground with a brutal spine buster. I take those 2 tricks, so we're 1 apiece here. And a trump of Spinebuster is I can exchange a card with you. So what I'm going to do is I am going to,
Can you explain the trump and the spine buster?
yeah, so because it's doing that as well, sorry, um, I've placed a card face down there. You can also place a card of your choice face down, and we're going to swap them.
Ah, okay.
So then I'll take the one you placed there, and I'll learn what I got out of that deal
We
because it's quite
basically
a
swapped
similar
the same
thing.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we both went the thing of the swap a bad card. I now lead this trick. Oh, we changed the weather suit now because otherwise, because that so we'll draw until we have a new one. That was instant. That's good. So this is the 4 of diamonds. The diamond is the only bit that matters, not the 4 for that. And that is torrential rain. So like some of the live wires and stuff gives away, and it's now pouring down, coated in rain. It's the end of the Matrix Revolutions. While you were just laying on the ground getting drenched on. And what Joel is going to try and do to press the advantage he has is. Oh, this is an interesting one. Yeah. I'm going to play the Queen of Diamonds.
Oh my.
Which is a neck breaker. So that's what they're going to try and lift you up. The impressive thing about the Queen of Diamonds is you have to play either your highest diamond or a matching 2 if you have that is the way of getting rid of it.
A
So the benefit of the
matching
neck
two.
breaker, if you were trying hoping to save other high diamonds and play a low one, you're forced to play up this high.
Well, I do have a 7 of diamonds, so I'll play that.
Seven is a good one. So yeah, they just get you up. So it's like I imagine they like drag you almost by your neck up. You're not even really standing to your feet when they drop you back down, knee to neck. Really, really taking it to you at this point straight away. Um, as I won that trick, it goes to me again, and I am going to play the Ace of Diamonds.
Good
Uh,
lord.
I'm definitely going to lose this, but the benefit of it is it lets me redraw 1 card, so I can get rid of a less useful card this way. So I get to I had a 3 of hearts I'm putting that in the discard pile. So how do you make me pay for this? What I'm attempting to do is I'm getting arrogant. I've like really knocked you down, and Joel is just gonna hit you with my forearm, like because I could just can. I'm gonna hit you repeatedly.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Well, I'll counter with an uppercut.
Yeah, I'm imagining like weak little hits just mocking, and then just an explosion knocking Joel back down, right?
Wind it up. Send him flying 2 feet in the air.
Awesome. So you collect those 2. We're once again. Oh, sorry, you can do that. We're once again up to a piece, and you lead this trick. You say what you want to do. We're still on diamonds because we don't swap. There are some trumps that swap the weather suit, but otherwise we don't swap until someone fails to match it.
I'm gonna play an eight of spades. It's gonna be a backbreaker again.
But not matching. So you out of diamonds.
I sure am.
Oh, that's not a. I need to figure out what I want to do. I can beat this. I just need to figure out what card I'm giving up to beat it.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, I'll spend the 10. Because otherwise I think the other diamond I had. So yeah, you're going for a backbreaker, trying to sort of struggle with me. Jules just slips around and locks on a sleeper and starts choking
Ah,
the life out of you.
these dirty tricks are
Yeah,
not crowd
Joel is
pleasers.
classy. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, he's a big guy. He hits hard and he gets that reputation, but also it's like it's just mean and like makes people hurt in that way and is skilled at the submission side of it, I think, as a character. There are two tricks left for this one. This has been a really close back and forth fight. We're changing the weather suit because there's a failure to hit it. Ooh, yeah, okay. Queen.
A queen, you
Um,
say?
yeah, Queen. No, I said the wrong thing and spoiled what I'm gonna do, but that's fine. Heart. We're in the hearts.
Mm,
I wonder what of hearts I'll be playing. It's
man,
hail now.
Joel drew some
Torrential
pretty good
rain.
cards.
I
Uh,
drew but more than one queen, which is obscene, frankly. I'm just gonna say it. Um I'm actually just as a facilitator, I'm allowed to do this. I'm slightly fudging of things because I think I had too many of the same cards, and I feel that's maybe not worth showing off the game. So I'm
oh,
just
I see.
but yeah, gonna play the Queen of Hearts, Dragon Jolt. Chokes you out like sleeper hold. Your lights are going out a bit, you're fading. And instead of because Joel is maybe is more interested in, I think, being brutal
Mm.
than necessarily being effective. The smart thing to do as a wrestler here would be to choke you into unconsciousness, and then Joel has won. But instead, Joel's going to lift that up so that they can just hook your neck and slam it into the ground. It's mean, it's nasty. It's probably going to work in this instance.
And it definitely did.
Yeah. Also, you're also low on hearts.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm low on everything except spades.
You gotta get back there one day. Yeah, so that takes here. If I win one more trick, that is it for um Bonesaw. So we keep redrawing because that's just landed on hearts again. And that does take us the
Clubs.
the clubs, yes. And I don't have a club. So you also may not have a club. I'll explain how it works if we both don't have clubs, but otherwise, yeah, I'm going in with a knee strike. I'm sort of trying to just like basically like draw you up, motion you up, and what I'm wanting to like level you dead in the heart like the moment you get up. But we'll see how this works.
Looks like it works. I don't have a diamond.
But I also didn't have a club, which is the matching thing. So I'm trying to remind myself of the rules I set here. Yes, no, the rules as they are in Transgender Deathmatch Legend. I added a twist to a later game I built in the same system.
Interesting.
I'll win the trump suit as a match by either player, the higher card wins. So your 6 will beat my 5.
Perfect.
Even so, what is the 6 you're going for? It's that's its own lariat. So how does that play out? Joel's trying to level Bonesaw with a knee strike.
Well,
What happens?
clearly it doesn't work. I'm just going to jump over, wait until he bounces off a brick wall, and on his return trip, clothesline him.
Yeah, knocked to the ground, knocked a bit loopy. Joel got cocky, and I reckon it all goes back to that neck breaker. Take the win when you've got it.
See, that's the difference between you and me, Seattle Dragon. This is a show, and it's all about the performance.
Ew, smug jerk. This is the struggle wrestlers had like in the twist from the 2000s. The thing of like, how do you say things you don't just swear at people? Yeah, it's smug jerk. Like it says that a bit dazed. Like if Joel was like smarter or more with it, they'd have got a better insult there. So that's collected. You need two tricks to win. I need just one. I need to get lucky once, but you lead the next trick. And leading a trick is a very powerful thing.
Does the weather change?
Yes, we both failed, so the weather does change. It is clubs, the two of clubs.
Well, well, well. It looks like this time the shoe's on the other foot, ain't it, Joel? I'm gonna play my four of spades.
Oh, four of spades. I think Joel's getting cocky. Not cocky, like they've just been knocked loose, but they're still of the idea of I'm smart. They go back to the well that has worked so many times before. They try for a neck breaker, and what do they get in for this attempt? Because I should be clear, this is the Queen of Clubs, not the Queen of Spades I've just played.
Mm-hmm. So, what does a neck breaker usually look like?
Neck breaker, they're gonna try and like grab you and twist you around or something, but you played a four, which is a big boot. You just like kick me off to the ground.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get a roundhouse kick to the solar plexus. It's gonna wind him.
Yeah, and then this is it all kind of coming down to the final thing. We will reset the weather suit because there was a failure to draw there. It is the diamonds.
I
You
have a feeling
play
I'm out of luck here.
first. This may literally just be who has a higher card, which is sometimes the way it works out. It is I have a six, you have a
Let's
10.
go.
Well, this is the thing. For the winning part of the trick, you don't always have to match the narration to what it is. So this would be sleeper hold, but you could instead describe how Bonesaw uses the old jackknife gut wrench buster.
Yeah. So it's actually a pump handle. So he's actually going to pump it a few times as he walks over to Joel, who's just on his knees now. And uh, Bonesaw, she's just like gonna tower over him with this giant knife and say, "Show's over, punk!" and bring the jackknife down.
Nice. Joel defeated. Rain's pouring down. Joel's out cold. Night goes on. You know, it's the start here for Bonesaw, but they got to get that money back. There's a promoter somewhere who is cheaping him out, running away, and Joel was just the first obstacle that will be in their way. Now, I think that makes sense as a demo. I think like one fight really showing how it works, really drawing out is makes sense. From here, you'd move into either spots. The two spots around aren't just fighting. So the ones with the swords you can see on the IO of that color are all fights. Other scenes are like allies where you'll meet, you say allies, but really it's just friends. You know, you're walking through the city and you meet people who hold you in positive regard and we shade in more of Bonesaw's life. There's also opportunities for challenges where you're like trying to maybe cut promos on people you know are out to get you or so on. There's opportunities with the yellow squares to not squares, hexes, to pick up weapons, stuff that could be used in. So it's not just this wall to wall fights. There's sort of five, no, I can't count, six of the important fights, of which Joel is our sort of starter one, basically.
Mm. What are my options here?
So we could, if we just did want to maybe see how one of the things goes. So the two hexes next to us, the blue hex is an ally hex, and then the green hex is like a challenge.
Mm. So put my character through a challenge or go see a friend, I feel like I'm gonna go see one of my allies because I could definitely use a hug.
Yeah, so that is number 6. Which takes us through like the city streets, and we come to sort of a basement. It's a maze basement of your friend Carmelo. She shows up. She's got like a bag of chips. She welcomes you in. She's unfazed and she's supportive. She's like, "Ronto, what's up,
What was this person's name again?
Carmelo?"
Carmela. Carmela!
You
I
really are
need
like always on.
Carmela! I need three things. I need a
Yeah.
drink. I need a hug and a nap.
She pops like can of Sprite instantly, brings you into a hug, like a really tight embrace. Just being like,
Oh, that's the good stuff.
"You're safe here, bro." And just welcomes you to a basement where you can just chill for a bit. It's just sort of taking the steam off, taking the heat off. How do you know Carmilla, do you think? This basement.
Carmela actually got me into wrestling initially.
That makes
All
sense.
it was her intervention after that bar fight that really set me on this path, and I or everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think you just chill there for a bit? At what point do you think you're like, gotta hit the road?
I'm gonna come down the stairs. I'm gonna crush the can of Sprite on my head and chuck it into a corner and plop myself down onto the couch and prop my feet up, kick off my boots, peel my shirt off and chuck it into a bin. It won't land inside the bin. It'll just like land off to the side in another slowly growing pile of dirty laundry. And I'm just going to sigh, put my wrist to my head, and say, "Gotta find him, Carmela. If I don't find him soon, it might be too late. I don't know how much longer I can put myself through all of this."
Hey, you gotta go, Bonesaw. Who are you looking for?
You know who I'm looking for. It's that criminal, that villain, Supra. Supra's been in my way this entire time from day one. Now she's the only thing standing between me and where I need to go.
Supra's a piece of scum. We all know that. But you sure you want what's out there? Really going for it?
It's everything. I've been wanting this for years. I've been planning this trip. Me and my moms, we're gonna go out to the vineyard and we're gonna pick out all the grapes. We're gonna get purple ones. We're gonna get red ones. We're even gonna get the big juicy green ones.
I wasn't ready for his motivation being all the grapes. Like, this shakes her head, like, yeah, man, I know. Bring back some of the white ones, okay.
Ah, Carmela, don't you ever change. You hear me?
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Um,
Marcus, make sure you mark that for Noir to put in the in the clips.
so yeah, from here, the easy sort of points to go. We're at hex 6. The skulls are usually respawn points. So what would have happened if you had lost against Seattle Dragon Joel? Is you'd have gone to the nearest respawn point. Uh, in in that fight, the nearest one is like your apartment. You wake up in your house. You've got a headache, and you're like, well, I want to like go back out and fight. Others are more sort of looser. Kind of the thing that really inspired me thinking of it is like when you used to like die or something in like a San Andreas or something, and then it's just you'll like wake up outside the hospital. That was
Oh
kind of
yeah.
my from that. So that's like a respawn there. You
Ah
can
shit, here we go again.
sneaking into a fight with like sort of Seattle Juggernaut Doug would be the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there's more sort of challenges you could face if you take sort of more circular ways around. There's a route you can take in this way you're trying to hit every enemy. And there is inferior route where you dodge a lot of them for whatever reasons. Maybe that's like a time pressure thing. And by time pressure, I mean like a real life time pressure. Or maybe it's you play a character who is like, yeah, I'm getting to this one person and I'm going to beat them up. I don't need to get through all of these other ways. But that is sort of like all of the stuff that can happen in like a sort of fuller game of transgender deathmatch legend. Its time length can sort of vary, and it also varies sort of depending on the cards you get. Like that fight we did went right to the wire. I've played fights where it was kind of squash match, where I, as the facilitator, was like, "Yeah, Seattle Dragon Joe comes in. It's like knee strike, lariat, backbreaker, suplex, go, ouch."
combo, ultimate.
Yeah. Which is also fun. That's part of like the fantasy. I definitely think like the facilitator role is all about, it's I don't know how much you do know about wrestling, but like it's an idea of like a squash match where someone just gets beat up to make the other person look good.
Mm.
And as much as there's all these room for these like tactical complexities with the trump cards of what cards you're giving up, I think a lot of this game is making our key wrestler feel big and powerful and ready. So in this case, um, I feel like just because of the timing, this feels like a good point to cut it. We know that Bonesaw is going to be on the road, is going to take it to Juggernaut Doug, is going to take it to the Death Agent, and is going to get their money back from Supra because
Mm.
they're ready to kick ass. They got to get to Italy. They got to get all of those grapes.
Yeah, this reminds me of the time in 1998 when The Undertaker threw Mankind off Hell in a Cell and plummeted 16 feet through an announcer's table. And much like then, we've got to wrap things up before things get hairier. So, folks, thank you so much. We had a blast. Kayla, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming onto the show and demoing this game for us. I know that this is a perfect testament to why you are an award-winning designer, because all of the creativity and inspiration that it took to build something like this, it's definitely something that is going to resonate with people. I know it resonated with me and Marcus. So thank you once again for joining us. I hope we get to see you again very soon on the show. But if
I've
not, we will. Sorry, go ahead.
I've just remembered something that might actually be useful to the audience, and I think I can say this. If you're at Gen Con, part of the prize means that the Indie Press Revolution store is going to have some copies of one of my games, and the game I'm going to send over to them is Transgender Deathmatch Legends. So if you're at Gen Con, there'll be some physical copies of the game you could pick up there.
Thank you very much. Everybody in chat, definitely take a look at the link to ratwavegamehouse.itch.io as well, or ratwave.uk if you want to learn more. Folks, we're going to wrap it up here, but don't go anywhere because right after this, we are going to head right into our next show where we will have Sarah's Table and they will be playing a very special episode of it looks like we don't know. We don't know what they're going to be. One more time, Marcus. Retro Retrograde episode 2. So stick around for that coming up in just a bit here. And for the rest of you folks who are not going to be sticking around, I will see you again next week. Bye bye.